Well, good morning, folks. We are here live for our cyber sunrise session for October. We are here again for October Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and I want to talk to you all about. Listen, this is day six. Day six. Now, I missed a couple days where I didn't do Saturday and Sunday, but today's session is going to be a combined session. So we're going to do a combined session where I'm going to talk about some things that I had in my mind on for Saturday and then for Sunday and then now for today. So what we're going to do is I'm so thrilled to keep sharing these daily security tips with you. So because protecting your business isn't a one-time job, it's an everyday discipline. So today's tip, or I would talk about actually Saturday's tip, was about patching, patch, right? You got to make sure you patch. When vendors release security updates, they're not just improving features, they're closing the doors that attackers are already trying to pry open. The longer you delay, the wider the door stays open. So take 2021, for example. Microsoft released some patches for a set of 0-day vulnerabilities in the Exchange servers, but many organizations hesitated. Within just days, attackers had broken into more than 30,000 United States businesses, stealing emails and installing hidden backdoors for ongoing access. All right? Tremendous mess up, tremendous chaos, very, very chaotic. Now picture this. You have your client data, you got contracts, you got financials, and you got private conversations sitting exposed on the dark web for sale. That's the reality of what happens when patches are missed. So when it comes to cybersecurity, time is everything. Time is everything. Every day, a system remains unpatched after a vulnerability is disclosed is another day attackers can exploit it. For internet exposed systems like email servers, VPNs, or even web apps, delaying patches is like leaving your office door wide open. That's why another reason why we have the Windows 10 end of life. Folks, if you do not update your Windows by October 14th with the Windows end of life stuff, this is what I'm just talking about. I just shared with you what can happen. A lot of you are going to be sitting here, oh, I don't have the money. Well, it doesn't matter. We can still go on. Whoa, well, why did I take advantage of the free upgrade? I tell you why. I've been doing this for 23 years. I personally never take the free upgrade when it happens, whenever Microsoft updates a new operating system. So a lot of times if you're in a pro edition, you can upgrade for free to the new edition. The reason why I don't is Microsoft, they're still ironing out kinks and stuff on the new software. Is it okay? It wouldn't be okay if they didn't put it out there. Yes. However, for some of you who have sophisticated systems, for some of you or a lot of you who have servers, it can make your day a living hell. On top of whenever your system don't start up correctly or doesn't do what it needs to do, now you're looking at your IT person and you're trying to beat down them to get everything up and running in a timely fashion. But the problem is, folks, you cannot. I do not recommend upgrading to a new operating system right away until at least 1 or 2 years after it's been out, because by then a lot of the bugs and the kinks that are going on, the trials and tribulations, sometimes some things are still in the beta, then those things are worked out. So here's what I feel like businesses should do. apply, number one, to alleviate all of this and to sum up what I'm talking about Windows 10 upgrades. Number one, at the end of this session, well, hopefully, you're going to call, I'm going to give you a link, and you're going to schedule an FTA with us, with me, yours truly, right? So we can talk about your systems that need to be updated. So we're going to make sure we update those systems before, folks, before. We do have financing options. We have other options to try to help you if for some reason there's a financial situation going on. But the bottom line is you're going to be in a more financial situation if you wait instead of doing it now, okay? But this is what we do. We're going to apply security critical patches to internet exposed systems within days, not weeks. We're going to maintain a full inventory of assets so nothing slips through the cracks. We're going to apply or automate patch management wherever it is possible and have a response plan. We're going to have a response plan in place for critical vulnerabilities when they're announced. Cybersecurity isn't just about firewalls or fancy tools. It's about discipline. It's about patching promptly and one of the simplest, most powerful defenses that you can place in this earth. So the thing is, the lesson learned today is security patches, folks. Security patches. You want to make sure those are being done on a daily basis. So I talked about two things here today. Security patches, how it's important, and how the Windows 10 end of life is very important. Now I'm going to move in to talking about some other pieces where I feel like it's so important that ties into this thing. And some businesses, I will tell you, in some businesses, one employee has access to every system, right? Is this you? You're sitting on a time bomb, folks. It takes one stolen password. It just takes a stolen password, a phishing email, or malicious insider, and suddenly your whole entire operation is wide open. This is why one of the biggest hidden risks inside any business isn't always an internal hacker. It's excessive access. When you have excessive access in many organizations, employees' applications are granted far more than permissions than they actually need. So you're giving people access that don't particularly need to have access to certain things. An accountant may have access to HR files, but a junior staff member may have administrative rights. A vendor's integration may also be able to see every database, right? See every database instead of just one that it needs to see. So at the first glance, this doesn't seem dangerous until something goes wrong. If that overprivileged account gets hacked, attackers don't just get into one system. They continue to move laterally. They move laterally, like going from one to the next to the next. They explore content platforms and cause damage, severe damage across the entire business. So the wider the access, the bigger the blast radius. That's how I put that. The wider the access, the more people have access to certain things they don't, the bigger the big fall is going to happen, and it's going to be a big old crumble. So we saw this play out July. In July of 2023, the Chinese threat actors, Storm 0855. I'm sorry, it's the Storm 0558. Got my numbers all jumbled up. That breached Microsoft. That breached Microsoft Cloud email accounts amongst the U.S. government, the government agencies. The stolen signing key that they used to gain access, but the reason the attack spread so widely, it's because certain accounts had broader permissions than necessary. Instead of being contained, the compromise explained or expanded exposingly highly sensitive communications. The principle of the least privilege is designed to prevent exactly this scenario. So in the practice of giving users, right, giving users apps and systems only the access rights required to perform the specific task is needed and nothing else, nothing beyond that, period. So by applying it to you, right, will shrink the damage of an attacker of how much damage the attacker can cause. So even they can manage to get into that. So the one thing I tell you is I remove admin rights from anyone who doesn't absolutely need it. Remove it. Number two, we're going to take the time to review how access to what in what business, where in your business, who needs to have it. Then we're going to check your old accounts, your vendors you no longer use, disable and delete them. Number four, we're going to separate all duties. No single person holds the key to the kingdom. If it's the CEO should not have admin rights to everything. You should have policies in place that will allow you to gain access to those things when you need it. The vice president of operations, the financial person, no one in your organization should have the all-in-one access to everything. If you do that, I just share with you what can happen. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. We're going to require approvals or time-bound access for sensitive tasks. We use a policy where when certain people are trying to access certain things, if they're not given permission, right away the request comes and you can gain permission. But if you send that request and you don't get permission, you don't get access to the document, to the file server, to the access of the server. You don't get access to certain things that you're wanting if the access has not been given. That's access control. And then again, the last thing I'm going to talk about again here is the principle of least privilege means giving every account certain policies that are not wide open. Okay? So, I said a whole bunch today. And again, we're doing real good here. And again, what I want you to do is in order to schedule, you can schedule a call, an appointment with me. You go to www.triadcybersolutions.com/FTA. If you go there, you click on that link, it will bring up my calendar where you can click on it and schedule some time so we can actually go over what this looks like for you. Okay? I got one more point I want to make today before I let you go is something that I should recommend that you should handle yourself, right? Or simply pass this on to your IT team. What you need is guidance or a cybersecurity expert. Why? It's because we're talking about network segmentation. It's a critical layer of protection that determines how far an attacker can go once they're inside of your system. What do you do when they're inside of your system, folks? Or what do you do when you don't even know if anybody is in your system? That's the real question. So think of your business network like a building. Would you give every visitor a master key that opens the server room, the cash office, and the CEO's office? Of course not. You wouldn't. But that's exactly what many businesses do when they leave every system, point of sale, finance, HR, email, guest, Wi-Fi, core servers, the flat network, you name it. When they do that, that's what they're doing. They're leaving all that access open for one person to handle all of it. And you don't need that. One simple breach and the attacker has access to everything. This is why network segmentation is critical. If you do it right, if it's done right, segmentation doesn't allow attackers, it doesn't slow attackers down, actually, if it's done correctly. If it's done correctly, it doesn't slow them down, it contains them. Instead of racing through the systems of unchecked, they hit all the walls. They hit all these walls because every time they're trying to go somewhere, boom, 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 they're being blocked, right? They're being blocked. So instead of shutting you down and shutting your whole operation down, they're limited to a small and it's manageable, right? It's a small area and it's a management part of that. The reason why is because segmentation isn't a plug and play type thing. It requires the proper architecture, configuration, monitoring to work. It requires all of that. That's why this is the point where you stop trying to do the DIY cybersecurity and bring it to an expert. We are here for you. Again, I told you, the link, you want to schedule that meeting with us, it's www.triadcybersolutions.com/FTA. You'll be able to bring up my calendar. We'll be able to talk and go over some things on what we can do and how we can lay this out for you. But because at the end of the day, network segmentation is about resilience. It ensures one mistake, one compromised account, or one overlooked device doesn't become a company-wide disaster. Well, folks, today I talked about a whole lot. I combined a whole lot in this session, and I'm glad you were able to connect with me. So again, stay tuned to tomorrow's Cyber Sunrise as we talk about more tips and tricks about how to keep your business safe, what you need to do, how you need to do it, and most importantly, how to get connected to us here at Triad Cyber Solutions. So again, Triad Cyber Solutions /FTA if you want to go ahead and book a call with us today. So until then, we will see you tomorrow.